See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Yeah, simple as that chart may be for the rest of us to understand, MAGA can't seem to get it through their thick red hats. And today's MAGA victim of effing around and finding out is none other than one MAGA mom and Snap beneficiary who's going absolutely viral right now for blasting her family after they refused to lend her money for groceries. And this quickly sparked some fierce debate online, with some commenters saying that the family was being cold-blooded for denying her the food money, and others landing in the camp of, hey, you voted for this. I'm curious to hear all of what you guys think in those comments down below, which while you're there, be sure to smash like and subscribe, but I personally land a little bit along the lines of this commenter. I sympathize with them if they're struggling, but at the same time, what the fuck did you expect? Alright, let's break it down from the beginning. I don't usually get my news from BuzzFeed, but I can't lie to you, I couldn't pass this up. A Facebook post from a MAGA voter on Snap is going viral after she called out her mother-in-law for refusing to lend her grocery money because she decided to vote for Donald Trump. People had a lot to say, and many users questioned the woman's decision to vote for Donald Trump, given her use of numerous government-funded programs. For some reason, I'm in a kind mood today, and BuzzFeed and Yahoo News both decided to blur this woman's photo and name, so let's just dive into the full post of what she said online. This MAGA mom writes, I'm so anxious about this whole shutdown. My husband's veteran. I assume she means my husband's a veteran, though that is not how that is grammatically said or spelled. My husband's a veteran using his GI Bill for school, which that's affected, and we get good stamps since I'm disabled and he's in school. I'm not laughing at the disabled, I'm laughing at the fact that she can't spell. We have 2 kids. One is 2, and we're waiting to get her tested for autism. She's a picky eater. I've tried other foods, but in the end, I give up because I don't want any more screaming. My 6-month-old is starting purees. Yes, we get WIC. WIC is the food stamps benefits for women and children, but still, I don't know how we're going to pay rent, let alone our bills, and get food. I do cook everything from scratch, and I've been adding rice, beans, or noodles to stretch it out. I'm just at my wit's end, and I'm overwhelmed. Plus, we're almost out of formula. He asked his mother to buy a can until our WIC comes in. Her response was, we voted for this. And that post apparently blew up, with people in the comments jumping in and sharing a wide range of opinions. One user, who I guess found the post on Reddit, said here, they were fine when other people were going to suffer. Other users, though, sympathized with the woman, calling the mother-in-law cold-blooded for refusing to help, saying, cold-blooded, but I don't blame the mother-in-law. So irritating when people get exactly what they voted for and proceed to complain about it. I remember saying before the election, I'm going to be fine, I have a stable job that covers my living expenses, some extra money beyond that in case it gets significantly worse, and I don't have any kids. I know for a fact a lot of Trump voters cannot say the same. It's exactly as I figured it would be. As of now, I'm still fine and don't anticipate that changing, but many Trump voters are clearly not fine despite being told this is how it would be. I sympathize with them if they're struggling, but at the same time, what the fuck did you expect? And then, of course, you had people who were just questioning her decision to vote for Donald Trump, given the fact that she uses a bunch of these government programs. Saying, so her whole family lives off the government and she votes Republican? Ain't that some shit? A person who essentially relies on the government for everything, but continually votes for Republicans who have made it clear they hate having to help people. And before we get to another and arguably more egregious example of a MAGA FAFO, the top comment on the BuzzFeed article itself was this. So, you are disabled, your husband is a veteran and a student, you are receiving disability, SNAP, and WIC, and veterans benefits in your household. You have a special needs child and are depending on early intervention to have her tested, and your health care is either Medicaid or TRICARE as a military dependent, and you voted for ... Trump? And you didn't understand how his every stated policy was going to come after all those things you depended on? I feel so sorry for children of parents who make choices like this. You actively voted to harm your own family, and your kids got no say in that decision, but they still suffer for it. The right is always so quick to demonize poor people. If this woman was a person of color, it would be all, I bet you buy processed garbage and don't cook healthy meals for your kids. I bet you don't know how to budget. Why is your baby on formula? You should breastfeed. It's free. But because she is worthy poor, her circumstances aren't her fault. I mean, yikes. So look, I'm definitely trying to turn over a newer or better leaf, and I understand sympathizing for these people while also giving them the tough love like that mother-in-law did that they need, and hopefully allowing them to realize the problems with their voting and the people they support. Because there is something very different about this shutdown, as Hank Green says in this fantastic video that I'll play more of at the end, and also I'll link to down below.
I was talking to a friend of mine that helps run an organization that helps people get food, and I asked her if this shutdown felt different to her. And she said something that snapped me out of my analytical politics brain for a second. She immediately answered, yeah, this one feels mean. It feels intentionally cruel. It definitely feels intentionally intentional. Like, you might not be surprised to hear that ICE is still funded during the shutdown. But you might actually be surprised to hear that SNAP has been funded during previous government shutdowns, which indicates to me that it can be. It just isn't right now.
Yeah, that's downright cruel. And don't get me wrong, I have been extremely critical of MAGA individuals and have made many a video of when they get their just desserts. This was one of the first videos I ever made that got over 1 million views and is a prime example of someone who probably deserves retribution in the form that thankfully they got, as you'll see here in a second, because of how detrimental to society and hateful their intentions and actions are.
Little bit of an update. Everybody remembers old vanishing finger hot take Melody from yesterday, right?
I don't give two shits that families are being separated if somebody's getting deported. I actually find it hilarious. It gives me a great deal of comfort. I'm actually fucking laughing at you, that you're sitting there crying for attention. Okay. I find you guys to be subhumans.
Every time I watch it, she just gets more and more charming. A lot of people had a problem with what Melody had to say. And not just like libs or Dems either. I saw people who identify as conservative who really didn't appreciate it. A lot of people asking things like, find her employer, etc. You may have noticed in my original video that I accidentally called her April instead of Melody. It's just because Melody is her bullshit online persona. Her name is April Martinson, and as you can see from her LinkedIn, it said that she works at Bidadoo Incorporated. She did work there. She no longer works there, and I think we should take a moment to appreciate the statement that her former employer issued. They said, at Bidadoo, we hold ourselves to the highest standards of professionalism. We understand that the personal views expressed that surfaced through an online alias of an individual's social media posts were deeply offensive. We can assure you that these personal views do not reflect the thoughts or values we strive to uphold as a company. We have taken decisive action. The incident has been reported to police and the FBI to monitor and deal with any potential risks or threats. The person involved has been contacted and is no longer with Bidadoo. Our team thanks you for understanding and for your continued support. First of all, kudos to this company for taking it seriously and taking action. Second of all, this comes back to the people who like to cry about First Amendment. But her First Amendment right, when you don't understand what that means, no one's violating her First Amendment rights. Her First Amendment rights say she can say what she wants, and the government doesn't come and lock her up for it. That does not mean there are not consequences for her actions. And in this case, her words have an impact on her former employer as well. I was told through someone that is associated or works there that they had to have a police presence at their offices in Seattle today, that they're allowing employees to work from home because of the threats and the fear of retaliation from people. Also, this company reached out to me because apparently some people thought that she worked there, and they wanted to make it very clear that she does not and has not ever worked for them. But more importantly, they wanted to state, even with that they're disgusted by what she had to say, and they condemn it in the strictest possible sense. Now, obviously, retaliating against a business makes no sense, and violence begets violence. Like, Never, even for her. No one should be trying to physically harm her. But her saying those things in the way she said them, in the climate we currently live in, I can't imagine she expected that to go well for herself. And based on the fact she's had multiple accounts and she is a known shit poster, this is like what she lives for. And it finally, her fuck around finally is finding out. And like I said, well deserved. So if I hear anything further, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, don't mess with her former employer. They did the right thing.
And I'm glad she lost her job. I'm glad she fucked around and found out. But that also has ripple effects. I don't know if she has kids. This MAGA mom obviously has kids. Those kids are going to suffer because of Republicans and because of Donald Trump primarily, but also because of the absolute inability of the United States government for what I would argue is probably decades now to actually function as a working institution that supports the needs of the American people. And that's a problem that both sides hold blame for. I want to end here with actually Hank Green's ending thoughts from the This Shutdown is Different video that, again, I will link to in the description, because I love going on rants, but I can be passionate in a way that I think might come off a little mean at times, and I'm working on that. But this guy is just such a genuinely nice and warm and heartfelt person, and I think he puts it really well. The whole video is something like 26 minutes, so definitely check it out. It's a worthwhile watch. It just came out a day ago. But here's what he said to close it out.
Actually different about this shutdown, like from as unbiased a perspective as I can see it, is that no one would get rewarded for capitulating to the other. Like, I, as a Democrat, I'm like, don't capitulate to these people. They are centralizing power around a guy. They do not listen to the law. ICE has become like President Trump's personal police force, which is very not how America should work. There's a constitution which has separation of powers because it's a good idea and we're ignoring it. And so why would I want my party to capitulate? Why would I want them to say, yeah, this budget as written is I guess fine. We just need this thing to open back up. Or should we fight for something? And if it's something, yes, it should be the healthcare subsidies. But then what incentives do the Republicans have for giving in? Nothing. President Trump says he sees this shutdown as an opportunity. Everybody knows that if you cross President Trump, there's a really good chance that you're going to get primaried, and that's going to be miserable, and you might lose. It's like they want nothing to work. It's like they want people to lose faith in the whole system, because if you lose faith in the system, then maybe one man can fix it. I know that a lot of people don't see it that way, but it just feels exactly like manipulative boyfriend behavior. Like, I have to destroy your relationship with everything so that all power can flow through me. And I really hope that this blows up not just in like the sort of MAGA sphere's face, but in everybody's face. Because there are reasons why it's like this, and if those reasons change, this country could be way better. That would be way less stressful for everybody, and also better at solving problems.
So yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more there. And if you would like to see our government and, the population that voted for Trump actually take the Constitution and the separation of powers seriously and stop wiping their asses with the Constitution, then do us and yourselves a favor and join our resistance here at Really American by dropping a like and subscribing to the channel so we can continue to call this stuff out and grow this resistance to 1 million strong. Because that amount of weight, of frustration, of community is exactly what this government wants to suppress. Whether it's us or the people who voted for them, be damned. I hope that woman and her children find the support they need, and I hope they think differently in the future when they go to vote at the ballot box for politicians who probably couldn't give less of a shit about their lives. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, folks. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'll see you guys in the next one.